Generative AI is changing the world at a pretty quick pace. And we've been hearing a lot about generative AI. But one of the things that stands out to me is the data. Without data, well, first of all, there wouldn't be large language models. And without data, how are you going to do anything with a large language model, right? So I think we're back at square one, despite the fact that there's a lot going on with AI. But I think that data is really important, and that's what this talk is about. You know, generative AI, or AI in general, has taken a big uplift. In 2024 alone, the use of generative AI in production systems has been doubled. And then, you know, I got this picture on my WhatsApp last week. AWS reInvent in Vegas. You know, Vegas is pretty crazy on itself. But if I then see that DataStax is taking over the monorail, I'm thinking, where are we going? You know, what's up? What's up, people, with AI? I mean, it shows how important AI has become. Generative AI has become in a very, very short time, right? I remember that, I think it was about 2 years ago, that ChatGPT took over the world. It stormed into our world, right? And then everybody was thinking, yeah, well, here we go. This is the end of my job. You know, this is the end of the world. I don't know. But it's not the case, right? Here we are still. We all have our jobs. Maybe our jobs are changing. That's definitely true. But I also see a lot of new opportunities come about. And then in August, I read this article. It's an article in the Harvard Business Review. And the article says something pretty interesting. It says that AI will not give you a sustainable advantage. So when I read that, there was a pretty big bombshell. Because here we are, right, with all these billions and billions of investments being done in AI. And then Harvard Business Review saying, yeah, AI won't give you a sustainable advantage. Who thinks that this could be true, that AI won't give you a sustainable advantage? There are quite some people in the room indeed. Let me tell you what the Harvard Business Review means with this. What they're essentially saying is the new AI capabilities that are currently out there, they are mostly leveling the playing field for organizations. AI has become so easy to use that essentially every organization can start using AI. And I guess they're right. You know, I mean, the last time Juriaan and I counted, there were more than 16,000 AI tools out there that you can just turn on and use with a flip of a button and a swipe of a credit card. It's that easy. You know, so I think that they're onto something here. What they also said is that if you're using just AI, value probably is created, but it's not captured for a long time. And that's interesting, right? So you can use AI, you can generate value, but they're saying it's not captured for a long time in terms of value generation. The reason why they're saying that is because your neighbor on the corner of the street, you know, your competitor, whoever, they have the same capabilities by now, right? So you can use you can use AI and GenAI, but everybody can do it, and that's where the problem lies. Value can be created, but everybody's doing it, so the value that you create is not sustained. They also say, luckily, that there is a silver lining. And the silver lining lies in the fact that you should leverage your existing advantages. And with your existing advantages, what they mean is your intellectual property. Because that's the thing that sets you apart from competition. not the AI tools itself. Sure, the AI tools are going to generate an immense amount of value. They're making new things possible that you haven't done before. But it's very important to match that with your intellectual property that you have as an organization.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, just one sec. So we can get the mic.
Thanks. Can you give an example of the last? What is the silver lining?
So, for instance, so the silver lining of using.
Yeah, I want an example. If you have
your
one.
Advantage, yeah. So, I will show you an example actually later on today where I have a little demo. But for instance, I could use ChatGPT, right? And I can start chatting with ChatGPT, and it will give me all amazing answers. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening there, right? But it doesn't know anything about my organization. It doesn't know anything about my customer. So if I want to become valuable for my customer, I need to inject the contextual information of the customer, of their data, of whatever is important to them, because that's going to make the difference. And that's what they mean with the silver lining. So I think it's, sure, AI tools are really important. But in the end, it's not about just the AI tools and the services. It's about leveraging your unique advantages. That's really important. So I guess everybody knows this guy, Bill Gates, pretty visionary person. And not just once, because in 1996 he wrote an essay stating that content is king. And I think that aligns pretty nicely with the Harvard Business Review message. And then in 2023, he wrote that about agents, right? Agentic workflows. And he said that they are going to completely disrupt the software industry. Guess what agents need? Who knows what agents need? Anybody? Data. There you go. They need data, right? So already in 96, he was right about what he wrote in 23. You know, it's all about your content and your data. They're your crown jewels. And I think that's why it's important to keep your data close to you so that you're in control of applying it to whatever tool you would like to use, right? Maybe it's traditional AI. By the way, I was at, Jurian and I were at an event last week where somebody from McKinsey spoke, and they were talking about the term discrete AI instead of traditional AI. I kind of like that term, right? It's essentially all of the AI that has nothing to do with language models. So, you know, essentially the same applies. If you're using discrete AI, you also want to keep in control of the innovation. It's the same as with generative AI. You also want to keep in control. So then something that's coming about pretty quickly as well, it's the EU AI Act. Who has heard of the EU AI Act already? That's, I think, about 70%. That's great. Because the enforcement is going to start in January 26. And it essentially means that you have to categorize your AI applications in terms of risk. And depending on the risk level, you need to document things like governance, security measures, and undergo audits. I know that there are some people here from financial services organizations. ING is over here in the room. And let me tell you one thing. They know everything about regulations because the financial services industry is tied together by regulations, right? And these regulations aren't going away. And that's why in financial services, a lot of organizations, they kind of already know how to deal with regulations. Well, it's kind of true because then DORA came and that changed a lot of things as well, again. But I think, you know, the fact is that everybody who's using AI or is going to use AI we'll also start to have to think about regulations, because the EU AI Act is not going away, and I think that there are only going to be more regulations, right? And that means that you should start thinking about a foundation to manage those risks, to manage the governance around the data, because hey, I think we all agreed that data is one of the most important things, right? So with your data, you have to make sure that it's governed, it's secure. Only the right AI processes are allowed to touch the right data. All of these things have to be true. And then I'm not even talking about the fact that AI processes and tools, they like real-time data. They like the data that you use to be up to date. And that's not so easy, because a lot of organizations, they still have data in a lot of silos. And then lastly, this is also something that well, it didn't shock me because I knew it, but it's interesting to see it on a slide. A lot of companies still have a lot of data on premises or self-managed in their private cloud, right? So it means that only 10% of the data is in the public cloud. And I actually know that there are some organizations here in the room who have less than 10% of data in the public cloud. So how are you going to utilize that data if all of these AI applications are in the cloud? It's not that easy to connect them. And that's why I think it's really important to bring the AI to the data. Right? What I'm seeing is that a lot of organizations are currently bringing their data to the AI. So they're setting up subscription with OpenAI. They're loading their PDFs into a GPT. And then, you know, a bit of value is created and maybe also captured. But then the second AI tool comes along, and the third, and the 20th, and the 40th, right? And where does that leave you in terms of the EU AI Act? Because it's going to be very hard to govern all of your data when it's spread around in the cloud, right? Things like security, I don't know. How are you going to implement that? So that's why I think it's really an interesting concept. If you can allow the AI to come to your data, use it under a governance model, instead of bringing the data to the AI. Also, I think bringing data to the AI, it means that your cost is going to spiral out of control. Right? If you use one AI tool and you're duplicating your data over there, fine. Maybe the second could still be fine, right? But if you have 10 AI tools and all of your data is suddenly duplicated, well, maybe not where you'd like to be. So these are some data challenges with AI, right? We already spoke about some of these challenges, and I think these are the main ones. So outdated data, historical data available in 1 or 2 or 10 of these AI tools. It means that the outcome of these applications is going to be different because you're using outdated data. It's something you need to take into account because we currently live in a 24/7 real-time world. Right? So we need our data to be available in real time for these AI applications as well. Still, a lot of organizations are struggling with complex architectures. No? I mean, we've been working on data modernization projects for, I don't know, 30 years already. You know? But still, it's hard. And that's because a lot of organizations have disparate data sources. And disparate data sources are there for a reason. Because they are built around applications that are a means to an end. Right? So for instance, SAP or Salesforce. You know, all these applications, they are built for a specific reason, but it means that there are silos as well. And the interesting value that you can gain is from connecting these sources to each other. But that's very time consuming. Let me search, look for a quote that was made by McKinsey. They said in the same generative AI event, they said building infrastructure takes a lot of time. Well, I think we all agree with that, right? That's a kind of a no-brainer. But they also said that probably organizations need to start spending more to make more out of their data, right? So with generative AI, new capabilities are possible, but getting to the right data is hard. So it means that organizations need to spend more more money to do that. They also mentioned that it's not so easy for organizations in the Netherlands because of the adoption rate. In the Netherlands, what they've seen is that about 20%, we have a 20% higher number of small and medium enterprises. And small and medium enterprises don't have the money or the means or the capacity to teach people, to do all of this. So that's going to be a challenge as well. And that's because of complex architecture. So what if we could make that a bit easier? Right? I think that there's a lot of value there. And then there are a lot of missed opportunities in this Gen AI world as well. Again, people are not creating sustained value. So generative or AI in general is evolving faster and faster, but it also needs more and more of your data architecture and your data foundation. I think that's pretty clear. And that's when this picture came to mind. And lucky for me, I absolutely cannot draw. I mean, don't ask me. Lucky for me, DALL-E understood what I meant. So this is a generated picture by OpenAI. And for me, thinking about all these things that we've been discussing so far, for me it means that AI and the complexity of AI, that's only the tip of the iceberg. The real complexity lies below the surface. And I think it's always been like that. Nothing has changed, right? So, does anybody disagree, by the way? That's interesting as well to know.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a bit? Okay. You and I, we speak later. But anyways, so below the surface, there are all these silos. There are these disparate data sources. There are pipelines that need to be connected. There's governance to be applied. There's security to be applied. And only then we can really start leveraging the value of generative AI. When I think of DataStax as a company, I think that we mimic that iceberg pretty well, right? Because we've been focusing a lot on the capabilities for generative AI and AI in general. Geert and Matt, they've been talking a bit about that already, right? Vector search capability right in the database. That's pretty amazing, especially with those kind of latencies, right? That's really interesting. Another area is Langflow. It's a visual IDE, an integrated development environment, to create AI applications. So that means that, we were just speaking about the fact that these SMEs have little potential to train their people, to invest a lot of money in AI. This can be a really helpful tool. But it's all built on an amazing foundation. A foundation of databases that everybody over here uses every day, right? Because if I think about Apache Cassandra, I can guarantee that all of you use it every day. Who thinks that's not the case, by the way? No? Yeah? No? Nobody? Okay. Let me just really quickly explain, right? So if you're going home tonight, want to watch a movie on TV, turn on Netflix, you're using Cassandra. If you do your banking, You use Cassandra. If you book an Uber, use Cassandra. If you want to know where your parcel is, use Cassandra. If you want to tap into the public transport, use Cassandra. Right? Cassandra is everywhere, and that's great because it means that it's a great foundation that we can trust and build upon reliably. The other component is streaming technology. So we're talking about all these silos. And these silos, they have to be connected to each other in a governable way. There are some organizations here in the room that are actually using the streaming component as well, which is based on Apache Pulsar. And Apache Pulsar allows us to make sure that all of those goods that we order from abroad, they actually find their way through the harbor of Rotterdam. It's something that's pretty amazing. And I once heard that if that platform doesn't work for a day, we're left with a traffic jam of about 1,000 kilometers of containers trying to enter the Netherlands. Imagine 1,000 kilometers of containers, right? So it's a pretty important and reliable application as well. So typically Cassandra, chosen for its reliability. I would say limitless scalability. Geert and Matt mentioned something about the amount of data that they're storing. Real-time operations, right? If I want to watch a movie, I don't want to wait for a second or 2 seconds until I can see what kind of movies there are, right? I want real-time responses. And the really cool thing, I think, is that it now offers best-in-class vector search as well. And not just vector search, the best vector search in the world. And it's not just us saying that, by the way, it's Forrester saying that. So Forrester has named DataStax the leader of vector search capabilities. And later today, we'll also see in a demo why vector search is so important. And then breaking down these silos, right? So we can use Pulsar to do that. Pulsar as a best-in-class streaming platform, it also has a lot of advanced features. It's not only real-time, but it also enables you to reduce complexity in your architecture because it's compatible with solutions like Kafka, RabbitMQ, JMS, and some others as well. And that's where it can also be a cost-saving solution. And then, well, I spoke a bit about this visual IDE already. This is these are some components of Langflow. So Langflow makes it possible to create AI applications, generative AI applications, chatbots, but a lot more as well, just by dragging and dropping these components on the screen. And that makes it possible for everybody, essentially, to start building AI applications. And it's not that Langflow only integrates with the DataStax AI platform, which, by the way, is largely built on NVIDIA applications and tools, but it integrates with everything AI, right? So if you want to pick one of those 16,000 AI tools out there, you can do so. There are no boundaries to Langflow. Yeah, so we spoke about the vector database, Cassandra. You know, the beautiful thing here is that we're named the only hybrid leader for vector databases. So it means that, you know, Cassandra has been proven all across the world because we use it every day. Trust me, if Cassandra doesn't work, you would know, right? So we trust that it works. It's a very reliable solution, and it integrates with vector search now as well. So that's really nice. I don't care so much about the logos here. But for me, the most important message of this slide is that this technology is available in every vertical, in every business. right? It's essentially vertical agnostic. So everybody can start making use of it, and with that power their AI journey. And with the ease of use of these tools being available in the cloud as well, as a managed service, it makes it really easy to start using them. And I will show that later on today, how easy that actually is. So one last thing, we spoke a lot about the importance of data, the importance of having real-time data available for generative AI. And that's why I'm so proud to announce that Wikipedia has chosen AstraDB, our managed service for Cassandra, as their vector search solution to enable AI developers to start using all of that Wikipedia data. And it's pretty quick. In the last 3 days alone, we've already ingested more than 10 million articles, and also created the embeddings for those articles. So the articles and the embeddings have been stored within just 3 days. And that's very, very important, right? Because I mentioned the real-time aspect. You can't wait for a few seconds until your pipeline to store data into a vector database is finally done, right? And that's why it's so important that the AstraDB managed service does not just provide the best vector search in the world, but is also integrated with a native local NVIDIA AI platform that speeds up the whole embedding process as well. So with that, I hope in time, Juriaan. Again, not? No? Shit. With that, my question to all of you is, what data will you modernize today? Right? There are 3 amazing tools available. Super easy to use. The most reliable database in the world as a managed service. It literally takes 1 click to set it up. The most reliable streaming solution in the world. Even the Port of Rotterdam runs on it. Also available with just 1 click of a button. And then being able to integrate and tie all of that data together in a visual way using Langflow without needing to have programming knowledge. It helps, absolutely, but it's not necessary. So with that, yeah, what data will you modernize? Thank you very much.